This is day one of using clawdbot to actually do tasks. So there's a lot of videos online showing you clawdbot. If you haven't heard about it yet, don't worry. It only came out about less than a week ago, at least from what I've seen. And this is an all-in-one AI assistant that can actually go ahead and do tasks for you. So today I'm going to explain that whole entire process, how you can use it, benefits, and more importantly, real examples of me asking it to do shit. So if it actually does it, I'll show you that it works. If it actually doesn't, I'm going to show you that it doesn't work. So you're going to get behind the scenes if you haven't installed this yet, if you're wondering more about it, if you're doing a bunch of research like I did. I took the whole day yesterday to set it up, and now today is my first day actually working with it. If you guys are new to this channel, my name's Hayden Ralph. I'm the CEO and founder at Jump Forward Media. This is a full-service digital marketing agency specialized in aesthetics, plastic surgery, and franchises. And I make these videos so I can help you guys grow and scale whatever business that you're in, and I'm going to be more focused on some of these new AI technologies as well. Our company does around $200K per month, so I have a lot of experience. I've been doing this since 2018, so I have a lot of insights to give you. So let's just jump back into the video. I just wanted to give you some context there about why I make these videos and who I am if you're new to this channel. Just to start this video with a lot more context and with a bang, instead of letting you wait till the end, I actually just asked it to create a presentation for me. I gave it brand guidelines and I said, yo, create this Google slide. This is going to be the presentation for the YouTube video. So just to show you how it works, this is my bot. His name's Polo. Don't ask me why, that's his name. And I asked him to I gave him all the guidelines that I wanted to do for this YouTube video. And I said, create me a presentation so I can walk, the audience through this. So let me click on that and let's see what it looks like. Boom, it followed my brand guidelines. Now there's nothing crazy to it, but it's fully built out and all the slides are done. Oh, look, it made one image. Anyways, let's get into this. So this is day one, right? Still early on day one. Only a couple hours in. I actually woke up at like 3:45 in the morning this morning because I couldn't sleep because I was so goddamn excited. So first of all, what is clawdbot? Okay, so clawdbot is an AI agent that can run tasks on your computer or in the cloud. This can interact with files, tools, and systems. It's not just chatting, it's actually doing work. So this isn't like ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT, you can write it, but it'll just give you a written response. It's not necessarily going to go out there and execute tasks for you. This operates autonomously. This can be connected to real systems. This is like if ChatGPT were an agent that could actually do things on your computer. This is really important to know though. Right? So there's a bunch of videos out there on YouTube. You've probably already heard of this. This is a huge security risk, and this is definitely new tech. So it's completely brand new. So there's going to be limitations. There's going to be things that you don't want it to give access to. Like you obviously don't want to give it access to your bank account. You obviously don't want to give it access to your Stripe or to your payment processors at the moment. Not everything works perfectly. You're going to see in this video of me having errors. You know what? Yeah, there is something you can help me out with. So yeah, can you help me create a PowerPoint? Actually, instead of a PowerPoint, it's connected to Google, so I'm going to say Google Slides. Google Slides presentation for my company, Jump Forward Media, and make this motivational for a team meeting. Include new AI strategies to implement and how to win with paid ads in 2026. So I just went ahead and messaged my clawdbot. Mine's called Polo. Don't ask me why. That was the name I chose. And now it's going to start building that out. So let's see the answer that it comes up with. So look, this is another example of it actually not doing anything, and it said that it did. So I'm going to send it a screenshot, and I'm going to say, hey, you didn't do anything. So it says, right, Google can only create empty decks and not add content. Let me use the browser automation to actually build this up. So let's see if it actually does that. I'm going to pause it. We'll see. So it knows my calendar. It knows I'm going to the gym soon, which is kind of cool. But it basically gave me the code to add. And I'm just going to say, you know what, instead, let's just create this as a Google Doc. Maybe Google Slides doesn't work. I'll have to take some research on this. So it gave me this file. It says it's a text file, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. Click on it and open with Google Docs. make a copy, save as a Google Doc. So I don't even know what that means. But again, I wanted to show you guys these limitations. So it opens it up. It's a text file. It says open it up with Google Docs. I mean, that's fine, I guess. But again, it's not Google Docs. So there's just things that you need to configure even further to make this thing really work. So again, there's some big limitations here, and I just wanted to showcase this part of it of like doing actual things. So like reading the calendar, sending me an update on the calendar, yeah, it does that. It's great. Creating Google Docs, Google Slides, I still haven't figured it out yet. Again, I just set it up yesterday, and my goal is to give it more context, go in deep on the APIs, see what I can connect with, and then have it actually do these things, because right now it's just like, it's cool, right? But like, is it actually usable? And that's what I wanted to make this video about, as well as like, what are things that you can do right now? What are things that are a lot more like back-end intensive and that you actually have to do a lot of? And it seems like this integration portion, right, of you actually getting it to do specific tasks online, that is going to be difficult. And so that's going to be my goal for the rest of this week. All right, scratch that. Hold the phone. I take back everything I just said, because now it's starting to work. So I asked it to do some workarounds, asked it to do some tinkering, and actually hit the API again, tried it a different way. And it figured out how to do it not only for a Google Doc, right, but it also figured out how to do it with a Google Slide, which is just freaking awesome. So I take back everything I just said about that, because this is actually wild. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say every time it gets something right, I'm like, yo, let's save this as a skill so you can keep learning from this, save this in your memory, so on and so forth, right? So I'm just telling it to create this feedback loop, so it continues to get smarter. So what I'm going to do now for it is, now that I got the presentation, everything done, I'm going to feed it my brand guidelines and say, hey, make every Google Doc and every presentation using this text format, as well as like, you know, the structure that I want it to be in, instead of just this white kind of basic background. Maybe it can't make it more than that. Even if it's just white and basic, that's totally fine. But I'm going to at least give it my fonts and everything that I want it to use. So if you're wondering how I did that, I literally went into ChatGPT, and then I asked it to create me I gave it all the text and font weight and everything that I use for my company, like brand guidelines. And I said, create this as like a prompt that I can give to Claude or Claude Code or ClawdBot, and have it be its own like skill. So that's what I'm copying here, and then I'm going to give it to the ClawdBot and tell it to add that as a skill as well. All right, so while I did that and I went ahead and added all this stuff, you can kind of see what I wrote here if you want to screen grab that, but it's based on my company, so it's nothing crazy. It's just kind of brand guidelines. So now I was able to create all these skills, right, inside my other computer. And it was able to completely build those out on my computer, so now it has it in its memory and its skill. So again, I'm learning with you guys while I'm doing this. There's a lot of these things that I didn't know was possible. That beforehand, I really thought this was not possible, but now we're actually doing things, so this is really cool. And again, my computer over here is just fully working, and I'm over here working as well. Now, something that is, if you're following my channel, or if this is the first time you're seeing me, then you probably run a digital marketing agency or run some sort of online business. So I want to give you where my mind goes with this and what I'm trying to create. So I'm not trying to go balls to the wall here and be like, yo, build me this, like build out all these crazy applications. I'm trying to find out what could actually help save me time first, right? So I'm thinking about this more as an assistant rather than like, oh my God, this is going to replace everything, everyone, whatever. No, I'm starting off super small, giving it the right context. I'm not just jumping from task to task. If it doesn't figure something out, I'm going to hit it harder and be like, yo, we need to figure this out. And then we're saving it as a skill. And so over time, I see this being extremely, extremely beneficial and powerful. But again, it takes time. So if anyone's out there and they're thinking that overnight, this is going to completely make you millions and millions of dollars and you can ask it to go launch ads or do all these things. No. So if you're a digital marketing agency or you run an online business and you want it to do more things, my recommendation is let's start small. Figure out things like this, like Google Docs, Google Slides, things that take you a lot of time where you're copying and pasting from AI tool into a PowerPoint presentation. you're reformatting, you're doing your guidelines, like you're using ChatGPT, right, to get these answers, which is totally great. But there is some manual work associated with that. So in this case scenario, it's something that you can chat with that actually goes and does things. So start small. That's my recommendation. And then continue to add on. Continue to add on, add on, add on. That would be my recommendation for where this sits right now. But honestly, this shit is really cool. It's exceeding my expectations. And if I can do it with little coding skills, then you guys should be able to do it. Like in the past 2 weeks, I really got started on Claude Code and Cursor and leveraging these AI tools. And the best way to learn, guys, the best way to learn, I'll give you this. If you're like me, who didn't know anything about code, only the very basics. I mean, I'm really technical with software, but I didn't know coding, right? And so the best thing that I could say for you guys is, like, how I started, I feel like is perfect for when ClawdBot came out, which was 2 weeks before that, just randomly. I was able to download Cursor and install Claude Code on Cursor. This was during Christmas time, maybe like a month ago, and just figure out that. And then it seemed impossible. It seemed really like I couldn't do it. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I was like, these guys are crazy smart. I don't know if I'm going to figure this out. And then the only way I was able to figure it out really was just messing around with it inside the tool. And instead of watching all these videos, I really just sat down and started messing with it, started prompting it, starting asking it to build it, figured out the structure, figured out how it asked me to connect API keys. And it gives you the step-by-step. So the best tutor in these case scenarios is the tool itself. So inside Cursor, inside Claude, inside ClawdBot, the best tutor is the AI that's talking to you. So ask it, how do I do this? How do I do this? Tell me, let's set this up. If it says, oh, that didn't work, be like, okay, well, let's fix it. How do we set this up? Those are my 2 cents. Hopefully that makes sense. Trying things, it's not working. You're going to see things if it actually is working, right? So errors and limitations, these are normal. It's brand new. But in my recommendation, which we'll get into later, you need to start utilizing this technology, but I'll show you how to do it the right way and what I did. Okay, so I know I briefly touched security, but it really does matter a lot. And so only give it access to what you're comfortable with. Again, my recommendation is a separate computer just for this agent, or if you're a lot more advanced, you can set it up in the cloud. I didn't really know how to do that. I also had a backup computer, so I was like, hey, I'm just going to set this up, right? So that's really, really important. We'll get into that in a second. You got to treat an AI agent like it's a junior employee. So one of my experiences here is I'm not going to give it a shit ton of tasks right away. I'm not going to say, hey, go do this. I'm not going to say, build me this application. I'm not doing that yet. The reason why is this is brand new. It knows nothing about you. It's a brand new AI agent. It needs to learn, right? And I'd rather have it start just like any employee. Let's start with little tasks, basic. Let's get it to know the company. Let's get it to know the company culture, the values. I'm using this for my business, right? And on the personal side. So I need to make sure that I'm giving it the right small things first, babying it into the situation before I give it access to other things or before I let it do more things in my business. Because just like any employee that you hire, you wouldn't just give it the keys, right? You wouldn't just say, hey, here's everything, go for it, figure it out. It's going to fail. So that's why I'm going little step at a time, which we'll get into later down the line. So the least amount of privileges possible is the key. Start small, give it access to this, have it perfect it. Give it access to this, have it perfect it. Don't give it access to everything at once and then think everything's just going to work out properly. It's just not going to happen. So how did I actually set this up? So there's a bunch of videos on YouTube. If you look up how to set up ClawdBot, you can go in there and figure it out. But when it came to me, what I did first was I watched all these videos on how to set it up. I understood, okay, this is how you set it up. This makes sense. It doesn't seem that difficult. I can do this. But beforehand, what is my strategy with this? You got to think about this like a business decision. What is my strategy with this? How am I going to implement it? And have a game plan before you just fucking set it up, right? Let's be smart about this. Let's think about it. What do I want to do? So I wanted it to be on its own dedicated hardware. So this was a computer. So I had an old laptop laying around. I completely wiped it clean, nothing on there. And then I set it up on there. But before I actually set it up, I thought about this. I thought about, okay, in a perfect world, what do I want it to have access to? How am I going to do this? What permissions do I need to give it? And let me lay it out in a Google Doc. I did that. I wrote it all in a Google Doc. This is what I wanted. So this included its own email address. So I made a company email address just for my AI bot, right? And so now it's able to log in to its own email address, and it doesn't have access to anyone else's, okay? That's step number one. Step number two was, what other tools do I want it to give access to? Well, down the line, I want it to have Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Slides, Slack, maybe Go High Level. I don't know if it can do anything on there yet. I'm not really sure. OpenAI, Nana Banana, all these things, image creation, ad copy, templates, AI Brain, all these different things, right? So I wrote everything down. And then now, as you can see, I'm starting one at a time. I'm not going into everything like crazy. I'm starting one at a time, going down the list, and training the AI agent that way. Now, another thing that I did was I didn't give it permissions right away. So I gave it permissions just to the email. Let's start there. Let's make sure it can connect to that. And then it obviously has access to everything on the desktop. So we start small. We start by saying, hey, what do you need to know about me? How can I give you more context about my life? Just like an employee. Hey, I do this. This is how our company works. This is what we do. We run Google ads. We run Facebook ads. We work with these type of clients. Does that all make sense? Yes. Cool, AI bot. What other questions do you have for me so you can learn more? Boom, boom, boom. Just like that, right? Learning, talking to it, so on and so forth, right? So we started with one thing, and then we're going to slowly add on more. So I'll make more of these videos showing you, okay, I added this, then I added this, then I added this, and that's exactly what I recommend you to do. So paint a picture, guys. Paint a picture of what you actually want so that when you're setting it up, you know exactly how you're going to do it. I feel like a lot of people, they just be like, oh shit, let me set this up. Oh, this is going to be awesome. But there's no strategy in place. This is exactly like a business. Have a strategy. Have a game plan of how you're going to do it. And obviously that game plan can change, but start slow. That's my recommendation. That's what I did. Paint the picture of what you would want this tool to do. And you can have 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years. You can have the whole business game plan just for your personal assistant. I suggest you make that, right? So I basically want to start again talking about how I cleaned my Mac, because I feel like this is really important. So again, I'm filming this on a separate computer than what's actually running. So my bot's running in the background on a separate computer that's sitting right over here next to me. So this, I feel like no one's really talked about this. This is really important, and I wanted to touch on this. So I'm using an old laptop. It had a bunch of files and stuff on it. I exported those onto a hard drive, and then I did a factory reset of that Mac computer. No personal files. And then I made sure iCloud was disabled. Clean slate. Nothing. Don't give it access to anything that you don't want it to have. Then, first thing, let's give it access to Gmail. Cool. We created its own Gmail account. That's how I started. Again, you're going to need to give it access to things like whatever your AI tool is. So, for example, it can use ChatGPT. It can use Claude Code. It can use whatever you want it to. So for my instance, I gave it access to Claude Code, so it can use Claude as the brain. And then I also gave it access to the Gmail. So that's how I started, right? And that's how I'm going to start. Now, like I said before, I gave the bot its own email, created a company email just for the AI, no personal account access, only share what is needed. Access, but with limits. This is really important. So enough for it to start doing tasks, but not enough to cause damage. Control is everything here. So again, this just goes back into the fact of we got to start slow, guys. So choosing the brain, I just read online that Claude Code was the best. I already had experience using Claude Code. I've been using it for almost about a month, so I'm really starting to learn the process of how AI vibe coding works and everything that goes into it. I've been really putting my head down trying to learn. I am not a coder. I know nothing about coding, but I'm pretty good with softwares and systems. So I thought I could learn it. And the best recommendation that I could give you guys is start to use these tools. If you don't, you're going to get left behind. Even me, I have a million tasks to do in my marketing agency right now, but this is top of mind because I know this is going to change the game. And why not? We're in such a cool time right now. Like, this shit is scary, but it's also really, really cool. And I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't actually look into this, test it out, try it out. Like, as someone that's working in the digital marketing space, we're on the forefront of technology. We might as well, do everything we can to test these things out and see what the possibilities are, because you don't want to get left behind. And who knows, they could close down this application, and you can't get access to it anymore because there's too many people signing up. So that's my recommendation. Do it as you will. Definitely don't add this to your personal computer. If you're going to add it anywhere, separate computer or a cloud storage that I don't really know how you do that, but there's probably videos on YouTube to get this set up. Again, the bot is only good as context. So this goes back to the fact of define what you want slowly but surely over time. Chat with it. A little hack that I've been using is, obviously I set it up on Telegram, so you can set it up on WhatsApp, iMessage, Telegram. I chose Telegram because I've never used that app. So I was like, hey, I could just have this app just for the bot. Cool. And it won't mess with anything else because I don't have contacts or anything in there. And then this is a huge power hack, was that I was just talking to it. So all day yesterday, I would just ramble for a 10-minute voice note and send it to it. And it can transcribe that and actually utilize it and start to learn and ask me more questions. So I talked back and forth with it for hours yesterday and just gave it so much context about my life, my business, without giving it too much, right? I didn't give it any personal details like social security number or anything, but I gave it the right context so it understands me, my business, my goals, and what we're trying to accomplish without giving it, security breaching information. So again, what did I do to start? Google API access, which it tells you how to do it. So you're literally like, hey, I want to connect to Google's API. It'll send you a link while you're chatting with it. You open it up and you make sure to give it access to everything that's needed. That's the coolest part about this thing, is it's going to help you actually do things with step-by-step on how to do it, even if it can't go ahead and do it. So a lot of people are saying that it's like fully autonomous. Not so far in my experience, right? It's not actually going out there and building like the API access. I still have to do that, right? And it's a good skill to know how to learn as a business owner anyway, of how to connect these things, because what if it breaks, right? And the AI agent can't get it done. So it gives you the step-by-step instructions of how to do it. Not as complicated as I thought. It's actually pretty easy. So early takeaways: powerful but not magic, requires setup and guardrails, and huge upside if used correctly. So you can already see in this video things that I've set up, things that I've been able to do with this in order to make an impact, like, and actually save me time. So it's obviously still early. I'm not going to be using it for my company for a little while at least. I'll be doing these little things like Google Sheets, Google Docs, see if it can do some basic reporting without giving it too much information. And just testing, right? Seeing what I can do to test out this tool and to make it perform better, and what are the actual things that I need help with on a day-to-day basis. One task that I already set up was every morning it sends to my Slack my calendar for the following day, which isn't crazy, right? You could probably do that with an automation tool, N8N, anything. But that's just one little tiny thing that I set up just to test. And so again, whole conclusion of this entire presentation and what I made for you guys was, I know my audience is pretty much digital marketing based, right? And this whole channel isn't about AI. However, I feel like there's not a lot of people that actually run businesses that are showing you how to do AI. A lot of this stuff is by people that are coaches or online gurus, or people that truly aren't really running businesses. So they're showing you how they set up AI agents, but like they're showing it in a weird context that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, my goal for this channel is to show you how to use this stuff for real business case scenarios. And that is my goal. And that's what I want to do. Like, one of my main goals is I don't want to replace my whole team. Why would I do that? There's people that I love working with at my company. There's people that add so much value, and there's things that AI bots will never be able to do. However, one of my goals is not having to hire a shit ton of people. And so what do I want to do with AI? Well, I want this to be the infrastructure that scales my company, so that we are no longer working on an assembly line. We're working on the machines that push the assembly line through. That's how I think about it. You guys may be different. People have this opinion that it could be a one-man show of the whole company and that AI can do everything. I don't buy that. Neither would I want to do that personally. Like, do I always want to be the only one that can fix everything? Do I always want to be the only one that knows how to do anything at my company? Absolutely not. That is not a scalable company. If the AI one day can do all that shit for you, That's absolutely scary. They have access to your bank account. They have access to this. They can send out invoices. They can do all these things for you. I don't know. That sounds pretty scary to me. And that could be down the line, but that's not what I want to do. I want to create the infrastructure, make my team better, give my team access to tools like this, and have us scale the company way faster without having to hire a shit ton of teammates. So if it can cut back the amount of employees you have and make everyone on the team that much better, that much output, that's my end goal. So I hope you guys liked watching this. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Send me a DM. I do have a free coaching program. It's called Black Sheep Agency. Link for that is in the description. If you want to join, it's completely free, like I said. And I do a coaching call every week. And yeah, I'm going to start doing more coaching calls on this type of shit. So anyways, if you guys like the video, put a little thumbs up. I'm really small on the YouTube platform, but anything helps. And I hope I can give you guys some more info like this. And hopefully you guys like this video. And thanks for watching.